Hi, my name is Nicholas. Welcome to this week's Hatha practice. For props for today, I suggest having a soft block, a couple hard blocks, and a strap. And then when you're ready, I'll invite you to come to lying down on the back and we'll get started in a Shavasana-like shape. But if you'd rather start in a seated meditation or child's pose or something like that, then go for it. Take your time to get comfortable. You can have any of the props around. Sometimes placing something underneath the knees or the thighs can be comfortable. Your soft block can also make a nice pillow. Give the body a little movement to help yourself settle in. Maybe a little rock of the hips side to side. Maybe a rock of the head. You might circle the wrists and the ankles a few times. And then you can let the feet just kind of flop where they want. Let the arms get nice and heavy, whether they're by your sides or somewhere else. If it feels okay to close down your eyes, then go for it. Otherwise, find something unmoving to gaze at softly. Notice the body here. Notice if there's anything that's holding here that doesn't have to be. See if you can surrender a little further into the floor. Let the floor support you here as you find that sense of quiet. If you'd like, you can stay exactly as you are, maybe even for the whole hour, and have that be your practice for today. And only if and when you feel ready to move, give the fingers and the toes a little wiggle. Give the head a gentle rock side to side. Pedal the ankles, maybe rotate the wrists. And take the arms up overhead and give yourself a full body stretch, reaching from the fingers to the toes. And stay in your stretch and walk the feet towards the bottom left corner of the mat. Walk the arms towards the top left corner of the mat, just until you're in a crescent moon shape. Keep that right hip nice and heavy to the floor so you can start to find a stretch through the whole right side of the body. If you want to cross right ankle over left or right wrist, go for it. Make sure that the shoulders and shoulder blades are comfortable with the shape, and you can always bend the elbows or turn the head a little differently if that helps everything feel more spacious. Awesome. And gently return the arms and legs to center. And then you can take the feet towards the bottom right, the arms towards the top right. Finding your second side, keep the left hip nice and heavy, stretching the left-hand side of the body. And this side may need a slightly different expression too, so listen to your body if you need to change things up. Otherwise, you can mirror exactly what you did on the first side. Awesome. Gently guide everything back to center as you're ready. And you can bring the arms down by your sides. And bend the knees here and take the feet a little wider than the hips, maybe as wide as the mat. You can start to windshield wiper the knees side to side. Moving nice and slow and checking in with the legs and with the hips as you do this. Notice if there's anything that needs a little care or a little extra attention today. Awesome. And when you're ready, bring the legs back to center, keeping the bend in the knees. We won't use the strap just yet, but just make sure it's nearby for when you need it. Bring the left knee into the chest. You can take the fingers around the knee and take a deep inhale here. Feel the chest puff up. And then as you exhale, gently draw the knee a little closer towards the left shoulder. And then again, inhale, give it a little more space. And exhale, knee towards the shoulder. Once more like that, and then we'll hold it. Inhale. And exhale. Now pausing here with the knee near the shoulder. And the right leg can stay exactly as it is. If you want a little more sensation, see what it feels like to extend the right leg long down the mat. And take a few deep breaths here. You can stay right here, or if you'd like to take it a little further still, you can reach the left arm to the inside of the left knee to catch hold of the foot, the shin, or the ankle. Maybe coming towards a half happy baby, you could think about lifting the sole of the left foot towards the ceiling. Right arm can be where you need it. Sometimes a counterweight is useful. And give the hip a gentle rock side to side. Awesome. Whether you're holding the knee or the foot, bring the leg back to center. And now find your strap and we'll loop it around the left foot. So whether your strap is in a loop or just a line is fine. Extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Find a comfortable spot for the strap so it can be near the ball of the foot or somewhere else if that feels better. And give yourself enough slack that the shoulders can stay grounded to the floor. Let the head be heavy too. Notice what the leg feels like here. Keep that left hip nice and heavy if you can. Notice that back line of the left leg. And if you like, you might think about curling the toes a little bit towards the shin or adding a little more weight with the arms. See what that stretch feels like. And then notice your breath here. See if you can breathe. Nice, smooth breaths. Awesome. And then as you're ready, gently release the left leg long down the mat. You can leave your strap there for now. Release the arms to your sides and just take a pause here. And check in with the legs, with the hips. Notice what might feel different on the left side compared to the right. All right, when you're ready, we'll even that out. So you can rebend the knees, you can bring your strap so that it's close by again. And settle the hips to the floor, and then you can collect the right knee into the chest. Interlace the fingers around the knee, and then take a deep breath, balloon the belly, and then right knee towards the right shoulder, any amount. And twice more. Pausing the next time you exhale. You can stay right here. Think about extending the left leg long down the mat. And this side may need something a little different to the first. If you feel any pinching or anything like that, you can back out. Otherwise, be here with whatever you're feeling. Stay with your breath. You can stay here, or you can continue to hold the knee with the left hand, reach the right arm through, catch foot, ankle, or shin, and you can take it towards a half happy baby. Maybe a little rock for the hips side to side, or you can choose stillness. Maybe the left arm reaches towards the left to keep you steady. Awesome. And then guide the leg to midline. Find your strap, and you can loop the right foot now. And when you're ready, extending the leg up towards the ceiling. And again, give yourself enough slack that the shoulders can stay grounded. And keep the right hip heavy. Notice that back line of the right leg. From the ankle to the calf, the back of the knee to the hamstring to the hip. When you feel ready, you might curl the toes towards the shin a little bit. You might add a little weight with the arms. And keep breathing here. All right. Gently release the right leg long down the mat. And then pause once again, maybe arms by the sides. Let the body be heavy. And take a moment to check in. And only when you feel ready to move again, you can rebend the knees, walk the feet in so that they're roughly underneath the knees. You can move your strap off to the side. And then reach the arms down the mat. You can grip the edges of the mat or just press the palms to the floor. We're going to flow bridge here, so listen to your body. If you start to feel pinching in the knees, you can always do this from tippy toe. You could also walk the feet a little further away, kind of change the angles. So find something that feels workable. And then we're going to move with the breath. So when you're ready with an inhale breath, lift the hips up any amount towards the ceiling. And when you exhale, gently lower the hips back down towards the floor. Move with your breath at your pace, using the whole inhale to lift and the whole exhale to lower. Five more, nice and slow. Last couple. The final one. And once the pelvis touches down, pause here. You can take the feet wide, rest the knees together. Maybe bring the hands to the belly or the chest. And let that settle in. Only when you feel ready to move. We're going to head towards a tabletop, so you can either roll off to one side and then come up through a seat, bring the knees into the chest, and start to rock up and down the length of the spine. As you're ready, you can build up some momentum and come up through a seat, and then you can roll over the knees and come and find your tabletop position. Moving any props out of the way. Set your hands up roughly underneath the shoulders, the knees roughly underneath the hips. We'll flow cat-cow, so as you inhale, let the belly sag down, lift the heart space, lift the tailbone. And then as you exhale, curl in, chin to chest, and dome the back. And then flow with your breath at your pace. Last few rounds here. Last inhale. And last exhale. Inhale, return to tabletop, separate the knees, and press the hips towards the heels. Come and find your child's pose. And bring in any props that you need to support the body. You can keep the arms extended forward, but if there's something else you need, then go for it. And give the hips a little rock, give the head a little rock. And then find your stillness for a few deep breaths. Only when you feel ready to move again, start to walk the hands in towards the knees. Now and find a kneeling position. We won't stay here long, but just to set up for where we're going. If you're using hard blocks today, take them to the top of the mat. You can have one at either side. And then just give the wrists a moment to stretch out. So bring the backs of the hands to the floor, roughly in line with the knees. And then without pressing too heavily down, imagine you're trying to drag the hand forward in space. You might find a nice stretch to the outside of the wrist. And take a few breaths here. Awesome. And then switch that, so bring the palms now to the floor with the heel of the hand facing away from you. And again, imagine you're pulling that forward in space, and then you might even add a slight bend to the elbow. You might find a nice stretch to the inside of the forearm and into the wrist. Awesome. And then come up and just give that a little shake out. We'll set up downward facing dog. So bring your hands down to the floor, maybe slightly forward of the shoulders, and spread the fingers nice and wide. Gently grip the finger pads into the floor just to create some stability for the wrists. And then from here, you can tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then start to press the hips up and back in space. And see what the shoulders feel like here. Find a sense of stability to help hold everything else steady too. And then you might pedal the legs a little bit or sway the hips. You might play with the proportions of your shape if you want to take a slightly wider stance, or if you want a little more or less distance from the hands to the feet. We'll visit the shape a few times in the next flow, so if you would rather work from a tabletop position, you can still do a lot of what we're going to do from there. Awesome. From your downward facing dog, we'll set up three-legged dog. So keep the hands really pressing to the floor and then lift the left leg straight up behind you. We're not going to open the hip, so keep the hips as level as you can. And then breathe into that stretch there. If it helps to point the toes, go for it. Or if you want to flex the foot, go for that. And then don't worry too much about how high the leg is lifting, but imagine that you're keeping it really strong. So if there was like a wall that you're pressing away, imagine that you're stomping the foot into it. With the toes. And then breathe here. And for the last couple breaths, you might even press the hands a little more firmly down. Maybe the heel can lift just an inch higher. Awesome. Take a deep inhale. With your exhale, we'll step the left foot forward between the hands. Keep the back knee lifted, and then find your blocks with your hands. Come a little higher. We're going to flow into the hips here. So deep inhale, let the pelvis dip a little deeper, maybe lift the heart space. And then as you exhale, extend the front leg, hips back, and maybe you're going to curl those left toes up off the floor. Back heel stays up too. And then inhale, come back to your lunge, pelvis down, heart lifts. And then exhale, reverse. And then keep going with your breath. The whole inhale to dip the pelvis, to stretch the front body. The whole exhale to lift the hips and stretch the back body. Three more. Last full round. A little different now. Inhale, come and find your lunge. Hop the back foot just close enough that you can bring the heel to the floor, and then extend the front leg to find pyramid pose. If you need a little more height with the hands, if it feels like the back is rounding or there's some pinching or something going on, then adjust anything you need for the shape. And check in with the hips here. Sometimes there's a tendency for that right hip to kind of open up towards the side. So see if you can keep the hip bone pointing forward. You can also check in with the low back here, and if it feels like it's slanted really heavily to one side, then that could be a sign that the legs can adjust. Sometimes shortening the base can help with this as well. And from your pyramid, you can stay nice and high, maybe in a halfway lift. And you could think about folding over that front leg as well. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're still breathing. If there's anything that's kind of holding here that doesn't have to be, maybe you can start to let that go. Things might be a little wobbly, so move nice and slow. The next time you inhale, start to bend into that front knee, and then slowly start to lift yourself all the way up, coming to Warrior One. If you feel lightheaded, you can come back down and try again, or if you want to be close to a wall or something, go for it. And take a moment again just to check in with the hips. If you need to lengthen or shorten the base or adjust where the back foot is pointing a little bit, then go for it. If it feels like a deep back bend for the low back, you could also imagine hugging pubic bone to belly button, maybe creating a little more support for the spine. And perhaps hands come to prayer. If you want to challenge balance, you can close down the eyes. Take a few deep breaths here. Really energizing through that back line of the right leg from the heel up to the hip. Really anchoring that front foot in space as well. All right. Look down to the floor, step yourself up to your mountain pose. Maybe the legs need a little shake out here, the arms, and then come and find mountain for a few deep breaths. You can lift and spread the toes, lower them with a little distance. Maybe a slight rock front and back, find the balance between the ball of each foot and the heel. Pressing the feet down, feel the spine rebound. If the shoulders are shrugging, see if you can soften them down and back. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you can find your gaze point. Make sure your blocks are still nearby. We'll come to balance on the left foot, so you can lift and spread the left toes, lower them with a little gap in between each one. And then take the weight to the left, lift the right knee to center. And then notice if the right hip is higher than the left, see if you can balance that out. Find that long line from the left heel to the crown of the head. Hands can be underneath the right thigh, maybe to prayer for more challenge, maybe to the ceiling for more challenge still. And deep inhale here. With your exhale, extend the right leg. Inhale to bend. And exhale, extend. 2 more. Last one. All right, inhale, bend, and then pause for a moment, maybe bring the hands to prayer. We're going to head towards a one-legged forward fold, keeping this right knee tucked the whole time. So deep inhale breath, and then as you exhale, start to hinge from the left hip as you bring the chest down towards the left leg. Fingertips can find the floor or your blocks, and you can stay right here like a flamingo pose, or think about taking it to a standing split, so lifting the right leg up behind you any amount, but just like we did in that 3-legged dog earlier, keeping the hips as level as you can side to side. The toes can point or the foot can be flexed, see what feels better, and then breathe here. You can stay right here. If you want to challenge the balance even more, you could bring one hand to the ankle. If you want to take it further still, maybe the other hand finds the ankle as well. The right leg stays really strong. The left leg is strong also. And keep breathing here. Last few. Embrace the wobbles. All right. Bring the hands back down if they're lifted. Gracefully or not, step to the top of the mat and then give the hips a little movement. Maybe a pedaling through the knees. Maybe a little something through the spine. Awesome. If you want to head straight to child's pose and we'll pause there in between sides, then go for it. Otherwise, you can come with me for a flow. Inhale breath for a halfway lift. With your exhale, plant the palms and step to plank pose. Deep inhale here. Lower the knees, lower the chest. Inhale breath, peel the heart up. And then soften. And twice more.
Last one. And then inhale for tabletop and exhale for your child's pose, any version of the shape. And if you'd rather rest in down dog, you're welcome to do that too. If you'd rather rest in movement, maybe a gentle cat-cow. And wherever you're resting from, take the next few breaths to make your way to downward facing dog. If there's a shape you need along the way, then go for it. From your down dog as you're ready, keeping the hands pressing the floor. Inhale and lift the right leg up behind you. Toes pointed or foot flexed. And check in with the hips, see if you can level them out side to side. Breathe here. Strong leg. Awesome. Inhale, lift the heel just a little higher. With your exhale, step the right foot forward between the hands and then find your blocks. Any height setting. Inhale breath, let the pelvis dip, lift the heart. Exhale, send the hips back. Maybe curl the front toes up, back toes press down, heel lifts. And then inhale to your lunge. And exhale, hips back. Nice and slow with your breath. Last three. And then inhale to your lunge. Hop the back foot a little closer, bringing the heel down. With an exhale, extend the front leg. Adjust your props. Come to that halfway lift just to set yourself first. And check in here. You can widen, maybe take the right foot a little further to the right if things feel really wobbly. And check in, maybe encourage that right hip back a little bit. You can notice the low back if it feels slanted. See how you can even that out. And then keep breathing, either in your halfway lift or you can hinge and fold over the front leg. All right, as you're ready, pressing the feet down, inhale breath, start to lift yourself up. And coming to find your warrior one, bending the front knee, and again, adjust anything that you need for your stance. You can check in with the pelvis. If you need to point the back foot a little differently or anything else, then go for it. Maybe hands to prayer or somewhere else. If you did so on the first side, you can play with closing the eyes for balance. As you're ready, look forward and step forward. A little shake out, and then come and find your mountain pose. Settle into stillness for a few breaths, and take a scan through the body just to notice. If you need a little more time here, you can stay. Otherwise, think about coming to balance on the right foot. So find your gaze point, lift and spread the right toes, transfer the weight to the right as you lift the left knee to center, and then check in with the hips, level them out. Hands to the belly of the left thigh, to the heart, to the ceiling. Deep inhale. Exhale, extend the left leg. Inhale to bend, and extend. Twice more. Last one. Inhale, bend the knee, and then keep it bent. And start to hinge forward over that right leg. Hands can find the floor or your blocks, any height setting, and you can stay right here, keep the left knee tucked the whole time, or as you're ready, you can start to send that left leg up and back towards the ceiling. Toes can be pointed or foot flexed. Right foot stays really anchored to the floor. Hips are level, side to side as best you can. No matter how high the left leg is lifted, make it strong. And then if you want to play with that balance like the first side, bring the right hand towards the ankle. If you want to come further, maybe the left hand towards the ankle too. And keep breathing. Last few. Maybe the heel even lifts a little higher on the left. And then however you like, step forward. Kind of a forward fold. Give the hips a little rock. Give the legs a little movement. The shoulders, the spine. Awesome. And then either make your way to child's pose or come with me for that flow. Inhale, halfway lift. And hands down, plank pose. Deep inhale, lengthen. And lower down. Untuck the toes, cobra as you inhale. And soften. Twice more. Tabletop as you inhale. And child's pose. Any version of child's pose, any expression with the arms, any props to support you. Only when you feel ready, you can start to walk the hands in towards the knees. And we won't stay on the heels, but you can roll off to one side, bring the legs out in front. Give the backs of the knees a little tap. Give the feet a gentle rock side to side. Awesome. And then look around, find your soft block, and you might come to sit up off of the edge of it. Awesome. And then make sure you have your strap nearby as well. We'll take the right leg and you can put it wherever is comfortable for you. We're going to work with the left leg first. So I'm going to keep it bent like this. You could also have it with a foot to the floor. You could also have it extended forward. I find having it across feels a little more stable where we're going. You can take your strap and you can loop the left foot with a strap in each hand or one end in each hand. You can start to extend the leg forward in space. So almost like what we did on the back to start with, imagine that your shoulders can stay back the whole time. And we're going to take this to a twist. So you can take both ends of the strap and take them to your right hand. If you have space that you want to hold the foot, then you can go for that as well. But just make sure that you're not losing that connection with the shoulder. If the shoulder is coming way forward or you're already in a twist, then give yourself just a little more slack. You can take the left thumb to the left hip crease here, and then press the foot into the strap. Take a deep inhale, and now with your exhale, you can start to twist towards the left. The left hand can stay where it is. You can bring it down to the floor for balance, or maybe reach it out behind you, deepening the twist. And then make sure you're breathing wherever you are. Awesome. Unraveling back to center. And then you can take the strap into the left hand. And now from here, start to bend the knee so that the hips comes back towards the left shoulder. You can hold the strap, but right now you should be able to, or you might be able to release and catch hold of the foot instead. And it might feel nice to extend that bottom leg now. So similar to that happy baby from the start, give your hips just a little rock side to side. Awesome. Now we'll take the leg and we'll wrap it around the other. So the left leg is bent, left foot by the right hip. And then if it feels like you need a little more support for between the legs, you can also slide a block through there. And if it feels like the bottom leg is being pressed kind of more extended than it wants to be, you could also use a block or maybe a blanket there. We're going to set up for a fold here. So just take a moment to make sure that the hips feel level side to side. And take a deep inhale to lengthen. And with your exhale, you can start to hinge your way forward. Hands can come along for support. And then pause before the sensation becomes too intense. So find somewhere that, even if it's a little bit intense, you can still breathe into it comfortably. Awesome. With the support of the hands, gently walk yourself back up. You can unravel the left leg, lean back on the hands, give the feet a little swish side to side. You can bend the knees, maybe give yourself a windshield wiper. Awesome. And then we'll set that up for the second side. So find your seat, see what you want to do with the left leg. And then find your strap and loop it around the right foot, extending the leg up. setting the shoulders back and down. And take a moment to find that stretch through the back of the right leg. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you can take both ends of the strap into the left hand. And again, give yourself enough slack that the shoulders can stay back and down. Maybe the right thumb to the right hip crease to check in. Find that length from the hip to the foot, from the hip up to that right shoulder. Deep inhale. And then with your exhale, twist towards the right. Stay here. Think about reaching the right arm towards the back. And then breathe into your stretch. Last inhale. And gently come back to center. You can switch the strap to the right hand and then start to bend the right knee, bringing the right knee back towards the armpit. You can keep holding with the strap or switch to the hand as you're ready. Perhaps extending the bottom leg towards straight, and give your body just a little movement here, maybe a rock side to side for that right hip, maybe some circles. Awesome. And then we'll take the right leg and wrap it around the left. Right hip by the left hip, left leg out in front. And see, this side may feel a little different. So again, you can use your props any way that you need to. And you can also stay upright the whole time if that feels better for the spine. Otherwise, if you're coming to the fold, take a deep inhale and lengthen. As you exhale, walk the hands forward, hinge from the hips, and then pause before the sensation becomes too intense. Stay with what you're feeling here and stay with your breath. Awesome. With an inhale, slowly bring yourself back upright. Release the right leg. And give the knees a little tap. Give the feet a little windshield wiper. Awesome. And if you're up on a prop, you can come off of it. Bring the feet down to the floor. And bring the hands behind you slightly. Fingers can point towards the feet or towards the side or out behind. So see what feels best for today. The bum doesn't have to leave the floor. With an inhale, you can start to puff the chest open, maybe lift the gaze. And you can either stay with this or with your next inhale, press down hands and feet, and then lift the belly up towards the ceiling. Wherever you are, stay for up to 5 breaths. And if you need to adjust something in the shape, then go for it. If you have lifted the hips, then keep the belly button reaching towards the ceiling. If you need a few more breaths here, you're welcome to stay. Otherwise, you can slowly start to lower the hips back down to the floor. And then look around and find your strap and turn it into a loop if it isn't already there. You can put yourself through it like you're putting on a shirt. So now it will be almost like a belt and one end around the pelvis, then the other end out in front. Now bring the feet in closer, like butterfly shape. We're going to set this up and then lower down to the back. So if you want to have anything else around, then go for it. I'm going to have hard blocks nearby for the knees. I'm going to have the soft block nearby for a pillow. And then you can either loop this and then come down, or if it's easier to come down and then do it, then go for it. But if you're coming with me, then we're going to pass the loop over the feet and bring the feet through. So now it's connected on one end to the feet and ankles and on the other end to the hips. And then this might place you in more of a diamond shape, so you can shorten or lengthen if you want to have the feet a little bit closer. Awesome. And then when you're ready, we're going to lower down onto the back, so you can come down. And just take your time to settle everything in. If you need something for the hips, then go for it. And even here, if you want to adjust that strap, if you want to make it a little shorter, a little bit longer, do what you need to do. And this will be the rest shape for today, but if you feel like at any point you'd rather come out and take a more traditional Shavasana shape, or if being on your back doesn't work for you today, then feel free to find a different comfortable and symmetrical pose. If any part of you feels a little fidgety and wants stillness, then take your time. Maybe find a little movement to help you settle in. You might even see if just any part of you could be a little bit more comfortable. Maybe there's something that you can adjust to make that happen. When you find that sweet spot, you can find your stillness. Feel that support of the floor. And feel the support of your strap. And you can start to let the breath be a little softer now too. And gently letting the breath return to its natural inhale and exhale. Settling into your stillness. And gently deepen the breath. If you're in butterfly with me, you can reach down and gently guide the knees back together. You might need to bring them into the chest so that you can release your strap. You can just leave it where it is. Maybe take the feet wide, the knees together, and give yourself a gentle windshield wiper side to side. Awesome. And then you can bring the knees back into the chest, maybe a knee in each hand, and you can do some circles with a low back in one direction and then the other. And then circle the knees in opposite directions, getting into the hips a little bit. And then change direction here. Awesome. Knees towards the chest, hands behind them. Gently start to rock up and down the spine. Mindful of the neck, massage those long back muscles. Maybe a little more momentum to help you come up to a seat. And you can swing the legs around, come and find any comfortable seated position using any of your props for support. And settling the hips into the floor, gently lengthening the spine. The hands resting on the knees, shoulders nice and soft. And take the left hand towards the right knee. Take the right hand to the floor behind you. As you turn the chest towards the right, find a gentle twist. Keep that length from the tailbone to the crown. Find a few breaths here. And gently release back to center. And then take the right hand to the left knee, the left hand behind you. Find a gentle twist towards the left. And gently returning to center. Take a counter twist just for a moment. And then back to center, roll the shoulders a few times. You can switch the cross of the legs. Settle the hips, lengthen the spine, soften the shoulders. Maybe a slight tuck of the chin towards the throat to keep the back of the neck long. Take that scan through the body and check in here. Your hands can stay where they've landed, or you can connect the hands in at the heart. Maybe bow the chin in towards the chest. Thank you for sharing your breath and your energy today. Namaste. My name is Nicholas. Thank you for joining me for Hatha Practice. If you have any questions, you can reach out and enjoy the rest of your week.